Jennifer here from Belladonna's Botanicals. I just want to talk a little bit about what my practice looks like right now, because it's changed a lot over the years, and you know, it's I've had to adapt a lot of things as far as what I do, how I do it, and when I do it. I think I'm gonna put this as part of the Accessibility Magic series as sort of a little bit of my backstory and to kind of give you an idea of how you can craft a practice that works for you based on your needs. Now, as I've mentioned, I am neurodivergent. I am on the autism spectrum. I have ADHD, complex PTSD, history of depression, anxiety, and blah, blah, blah. Also, some degenerative joint issues in my low back and hips, which create chronic pain and mobility issues. And probably some other things like sleep apnea, but that doesn't really affect my practice that much unless I don't sleep well. Um, but taking all those things into consideration, I've had to modify how I practice witchcraft and in varying kind of ways. So now, one thing I can tell you is I am not consistent with anything at all. And that's okay. If you can't be consistent, it's okay. You don't have to do something every day. You can try if you can. Sometimes I just either don't have the time or I just don't have the wherewithal to do anything. So these are the most common practices I do. I do a lot of channeling directly in communication with the spirits I work with. Or sometimes they just show up and be like, yo, listen, I gotta take some notes, and sometimes I think I'm a glorified, transcription secretary or something. But so I spend time in communion with the spirits that I work with. Now, this may not look like fancy pants rituals, waving my ceremonial sword around, blazing flames everywhere, and whatnot. But it's part of my practice is to be in communion with the spirits that I work with. Now, that's may not always be specifically like the demonic divine or the dark goddesses, like Lucifer and Lilith are my patron and matron deities. I work with other ones on specific things, but I also spend time in communion with my spirit guides and the power animals that I work with. That is part of that communion that I spend. And in that is when I receive a lot of gnosis or occasionally formulations on products I have to make. You would not believe how many times they've given me recipes for things. They're like, here, go make this, or I want this, or I want that. I've got a spreadsheet with things on it I have not yet gotten to. But that's part of my practice. And it's a valid part of my practice. I think more people should spend time in communion with the entities they work with. Don't just call them up when you need something. Spend time when you can. Again, it doesn't have to be every day, but spend time with them when you can to build a relationship with them and build that, to build your, whatever you want to go, psychic skills, communication, spirit communication, mediumship, anything within that. Now, not everyone has the ability to hear, sense, see, smell the spirits they work with. It does take time. I am working on some stuff regarding that because, again, hey, they love to give me ideas. I just need to implement them. I'm figuring out the mechanics of something I need to test first, but I keep forgetting about it. Probably be like a service that I offered, but anywho, so that's probably almost like the largest part of my spiritual practice is that communion, and that could come from guided meditation. Sometimes I incorporate it when I'm doing I usually do some type of self Reiki energy healing and cleansing every day. That is one thing I do. I will admit, I have gotten in a better practice with doing some form of Reiki on myself every day. And even if it's just like sort of to open up the channels, like Reiki doesn't have to be like, ow, heal my headache, or, you know, cleanse any negative energy from me. You know, sort of evoking the Reiki symbols and using it as a modality to enhance and open your psychic abilities to channel information is one way you can use Reiki healing. I also use it for, to clear out whatever's going on. Like I've got a sore throat and I'm coughing or my back hurts or, um, to change my mindset on something, or if I'm, depressed or I can't sleep, I can use it for that. So I try to do some form of energy work on myself every day. That's another huge part of my practice. Um, I will, maybe not every night. Um, sometimes it gets, it'll either be guided meditation or meditation, or it will be astral travel. And that's another way in which I work with the spirits that I work with, is through either deep meditation or astral travel. And I've done a lot of work in the astral realm. So one of the things I did, I might do an updated video on this, in creating your own astral temple. So I always have a place to go in the astral, kind of like a point place. And, I have ritual spaces there that I've created, that I can do different things in. I can do a full evocation in the astral land. It's easier for me to do that because of, pain or mobility issues, because sometimes it's fine and other times, I'd actually been doing really well on the chronic pain front for the past couple months, and yesterday it just knocked me on my ass. And then I had to take a muscle relaxer to go to sleep because it felt like my legs were encased in lead. And then I slept like until about 1 p.m., which is probably why I'm recording videos at 2 o'clock in the morning. But I digress. So I have an astral temple that I constructed years ago. And that's sort of like my point of entry into the astral realm. So having that point of entry there really helps you to be able to kind of get out of your body and into the ether to work in those spaces. So that's another huge part of my practice. Notice I haven't done a single physical thing there. So your practice can be completely internalized in that way. And that's fine. I encourage that. I encourage people to do that, because you can freaking, on your bus ride, train ride into work, you can, do some deep meditation. You can do some Reiki on yourself. Do not do while driving, however, but, there's ways that you can incorporate this into all the different aspects of your life. And it's very helpful to be able to do that. You don't have to feel like, especially if there's times when money is tight and, I can, go book a Reiki healing, shamanic healing session right now or something. Or else I've booked one and it's 2 weeks from now or something like that. So, to be able to do some of these things on your own is really helpful. So those are sort of the big three of my current practice. The other parts of my practice, before we get into like physically, actually doing something, I incorporate learning into my practice, whether that is devoting time to reading or watching videos or learning new skills. That is something that is incorporated into part of my spiritual growth and education, is learning new things. So on the personal front, this may not apply to you, but a part of my practice is actually making the physical products that I make. That takes a lot of, magical energy and ritual, maybe not so much like ritual in the traditional sense, but, channeling energy, getting the right energetics for things, and not in addition to actually putting everything together to make it, or coming up with ideas for new products. That is part of my practice. Um, Now you might find that, well, okay, maybe you're not a witchy business owner, but you can incorporate like, using herbs in your practice or using crystals, and you can also connect with those things. Like if you are building a meditation practice, you can work with different plants to build a relationship with the plant spirit allies of them, and the same thing with crystals. Like I discovered one of my Lemurian spirit guide by doing a crystal meditation with the Lemurian seed quartz. And it was a pre-recorded meditation someone else had done, and it's like she just was there like suddenly. And again, I had I mentioned it in one of my live streams. Um, I went to like a shamanic sound healing, uh, or had shamanic sound healing done, and part of it was with the element of water, and there she was with that. And I think while I was kind of out of it, I think I actually grabbed a piece of Lemurian quartz off my altar, and and sort of like a dolphin spirit, a spirit or dolphin power animal or animal guide came in. So, and that was kind of associated with that Lemurian Atlantean current. So you can work with and build connections with different things, the different tools that are part of your practice, especially natural elements like crystals. This is actually a necklace I have. Like with crystals, you can meditate with like a tarot card. If you really want to learn the tarot on a more intuitive level, as opposed to reading books or taking courses on it, you could do a 72 day, or 72 week or whatever meditation with each of the tarot cards to build a greater connection with that particular tool. So that's another thing that you can incorporate into your practice. And I do that as well. Maybe not as consistently as I could, but that's something that is part of what I do. Because for me, my spirituality and my practice of the craft is about connection. It's about connecting energies. And whether it's the energy from a crystal, whether it's the energy from a candle, whether it's the energy of herbs or aroma or the spirits I work with, for me, it's all about connecting energies. So that again, part of my practice. So now when we get into the what I do in my actual physical practice, excuse me, it varies wildly. Am I doing a ritual every day? Am I doing a ritual every full moon, every new moon, whatnot? Sometimes I try to do things around the new moon. The full moon, I'm sorry, I don't know, for whatever reason, the full moon makes me an emo bish, and I just want to cry on my sofa and sleep for all of it. So I don't do a lot on the full moon at all, to be honest, especially if there's like a lunar eclipse full moon. Oh my God. Not a fan. Because it's like clockwork. Every full moon, I'll be talking to a friend of mine, like, why am I so tired this week and moody? And then like my phone app pops up, full moon, haha, surprise, motherfuckers. And I'm like, should have known it was the full moon all along. It's like the Scooby-Doo villain of the lunar cycles. But I'm more likely to do like a new moon manifestation type thing. Sometimes if there's like a planetary thing going on, like I did something on the April 20th because it was the new moon, it was a solar eclipse, and it was also going into Mercury retrograde, and it was, powerful astrological time. So I did something with that. I'll do stuff around the different like witches' sabbats. Like I don't maybe do the most traditional things for them. Like I'll be like, oh, it's Ostara. I'm gonna do a ritual for something or another on Ostara. More often than not, I would say right now, most of my physical rituals are candle spells, occasionally jar spells, sometimes freezer spells. I have to upgrade my freezer spells. I'm actually going to do a demo video on that because I actually do them pretty cool. I have a secret ingredient for mine. Aren't you just waiting to see? I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I do. So like I have all of my ritual spaces. Um, I'm actually gonna do a longer video on this because I haven't entirely completed the process. But what I started doing, these are I kind of made these beacons to connect all of my like ritual spaces because I can't always be in a place in which I could sit in front of my altar for long periods of time. So sometimes I have to do my rituals like with an end table by the couch while my altar is over there. Um, Actually, this chair might make it easier to do some things. This, which is a new acquisition, but I got these. These are, I think it's called Angel Aura. They're harmonizers, so they are like cylindrical kind of things. So Angel Aura, if it's done in the proper way, there's a lot of what. Sorry, I'm going to diverge into like crystal nerdery for a minute here. So with a lot of the aura quartz, they're chemically treated. Some of them are chemically treated to create. I don't know if I have a good example of one around. Wait, it's not an aura quartz. Hold on. It's here it is. So this is something that is titanium treated. I think it is a quartz cluster. Cluster. It's hard to say. But so this doesn't obviously naturally occur this way. This is chemically treated, or with a particular type of metal or stone. It's actually pretty. It is pretty cool. But some people don't like to work with these because they're not natural in that particular sense. What I like about these particular angel aura quartz is that this is quartz that's treated with gold, platinum, and silver, I believe, or copper. I can't remember. I'd have to look. But I got these to kind of harmonize. Sorry, I just made myself go out of focus. I got these to harmonize and sort of act as beacons with all of my magical spaces to link them up so that no matter where I'm at in the house, whether I'm sitting in bed with like a breakfast in bed tray doing a ritual that way, that I could still have access to the energy of my ritual spaces and that they're all connected energetically. So that is something that I've developed in my practice so that I can do rituals anywhere. I mean, if I wanted to, I can take, one of the main ones. I'm eventually going to build these out a little bit differently. At least the main one I'm going to hook up to, there's a particular type of radionics harmonizer that I'm looking to get, and using some copper, like copper plating, and also some different types of crystals, like smaller pieces of crystals and stuff, to kind of really focus that energy and get it kind of flowing. But so for right now, these are what I'm using. And it was something that kind of came to me in my vast, let me put that back there. It stays. That's something that came to me through one of my channeling, or just sort of in communication with the spirit world, is that that was something that was given to me as to how I could do this. That was a solution to it. So that gives me the ability to do my rituals on the fly. If I wanted to take that and go do a ritual while I'm, I don't know, at my parents' house or something, it would be able to link me to the energy of all my altars in one thing. That's what's cool about crystal energy. And I'm going to be making a lot more videos on crystals at some point. I just kind of have to, since there's a lot of science there, I have to kind of get them a little more outlined in a cogent sense where it's not just me just kind of talking like this extemporaneously. But anyways, that's right now the vast majority of what I do as far as my practice goes. And I have things that I do. I've got my spiritual hygiene. I take regular salt baths. I do things like that. I do a lot of energy cleansing. I do the self Reiki, as I mentioned earlier. So my practice, while it's not always the most consistent thing, it is very robust, but it's not maybe robust in the sense of, I'm going outside building a circle of stones and a bonfire and, doing a 6 hour evocation thing. Because it's not in my wheelhouse to do that right now. Nor do I have the space to do it. So I find the time when I need to do a ritual. Sometimes I get, the little kind of whisper in my ear, or when I'm working in communion with the different spirits, they will kind of outline to me what I need to do. Excuse me. So it's like, do a ritual for this, and then this. And once you get through this, because one of the things that they've taught me lately, especially with doing, because I work with Mammon, did a video on that recently, for like money magic and things like that. One of the things he kind of built out to me in that is that I really need to do like layered prosperity magic for very targeted specific things. So right now I'm more just finishing up, because I have a lot of ongoing candle spells. Like I get a lot of those 7-day candles for that. So right now I'm finishing up one of the like candle spells I maybe started around April 20th. So, or maybe it was after that. I don't remember, but I'd have to look at my notes. So for this particular thing, once I get the outcome of this, I can move on to the next thing. So sometimes it's a matter of layering spells in a way, instead of doing one big, kind of nuking spell, it's kind of doing smaller kind of little things in that sense. So anyways, I hope you found this video helpful as into how I do work. I may not be the most interesting theatrical ritualist in the world, but that's what works for me. And what I encourage everyone to do is find what works for you. Some people are great at remote viewing and doing astral work for other people. Some people do physical rituals. Some people do divination and tarot and things like that. And I do divination when I need to. More often than not, I'm going to have someone do it for me. I don't trust myself, because I'm going to do a tarot reading and it's just going to tell me exactly what I want to hear if I do it for me. So, or I'll do one for me and then send it to someone and be like, am I on point with this? Is my interpretation correct? Because the imposter syndrome is real. And I may do a video on that sometime soon. Anyways, thank you for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. And I will talk to y'all later. Love you.